Hello, I'm Vincent Scorza, Senior Vice President at Bank of America, Certified Financial Planner, and a congregant at Church by the Sea. This series is designed to help you take control of your money and get ahead in 2021. This session is about income and paychecks. Let me take you to the slides. Although understanding paychecks, insurance, and government resources may seem complicated and even overwhelming, it's important to figure it out in order to manage your money well. Fully understanding your income and paycheck is a key step to making meaningful progress toward having a sound financial foundation. So in this session, we're going to discuss understanding your paycheck, including how to read the different parts of a paycheck and what they each mean. Second, making the most of your paycheck, regardless of whether you're working full-time, part-time, or just occasional jobs. And benefits and resources available, including potential employee benefits, tax credits, and government resources. The first time you ever received a paycheck, were you surprised the total amount at the top was more than what you actually got? I know I was. That's because the gross pay, which is your pay before anything is taken out, is higher than your net pay, which is what you actually take home, the money that you actually receive. There are two types of deductions that can be taken out of your paycheck. First is mandatory deductions. These are deductions that are required by law to pay. These include federal income tax, possibly state and local income taxes, Social Security tax, which is an insurance program consisting of retirement, disability, and survivor benefits, and Medicare tax, which is health insurance for people over 65 and for certain folks with disabilities. The second kind of deductions are voluntary, which are options you can choose to pay for at some jobs. These include health insurance or money put aside in a retirement account. Your take-home pay, therefore, your net pay, is your gross pay minus the deductions. Let's walk through an example. Say you have $1,000 in gross pay on your pay stub. You are in the 12% federal tax bracket and your state charges 5%. You don't have any voluntary deductions. In this example, your take-home pay from $1,000 would be $753.50. Remember, your take-home pay is the actual amount you'll have to work with for spending and saving. I'm going to skip this next slide because the content doesn't exactly make sense for what we're presenting here. So moving on. Let's talk about health insurance. As we discussed earlier, some deductions are mandatory and some are voluntary. Health insurance is an example of a voluntary deduction. Businesses with more than 50 employees are required to provide health insurance or they pay a tax penalty. Currently, the law requires that most health plans cover certain preventative visits and tests at no cost to you. But most other appointments will have some cost. For example, if you need to go to the doctor for something like an MRI or a CAT scan, and your total bill is $1,000, your plan may require you to cover 20%. So you would have to pay $200. However, keep in mind that you may also have to pay amounts within a deductible and amounts in excess of coverage. In addition to employer-provided health insurance, Medicaid may also be an option. Medicaid is a joint federal and state program that helps with medical costs for some people with limited income and resources. Medicaid cannot charge you more for pre-existing conditions and will always cover inpatient and outpatient hospital services no matter what state you live in. However, the rules for eligibility are different for each state. To learn more about Medicaid, I recommend going to www.medicaid.gov. For more information about additional health insurance options, visit www.healthcare.gov. If your income isn't covering all of your bills, there are currently other options that can help you. Available government resources change from time to time, but here are some that may be available to you now. First is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. SNAP is also commonly referred to as food stamps. The program offers nutrition assistance to millions of individuals and families. You can use SNAP benefits to buy lots of healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, bread, cereal, dairy. You cannot use SNAP to buy vitamins, medicines, or food that will be eaten in a store or hot foods. For more information, I recommend visiting www.fns.usda.gov/SNAP. Another benefit is the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. This program is designed to help pregnant women or families with dependent children become self-sufficient. TANF provides temporary financial assistance to help low-income families pay for food, shelter, and utilities. Benefits vary from state to state. For more information, visit www.acf.hhs.gov. And Medicaid, as we discussed earlier, if you're eligible, this medical assistance will cover routine and emergency care, as well as family planning and hospice, dental, and vision. For more information, www.medicaid.gov. Now let's review some other resources that may be available to help you locally. The Emergency Food Assistance Program is a federal program that provides emergency food and nutrition assistance at no cost. The types of foods USDA purchases for TAFAP vary depending on the preferences of states and on agricultural market conditions. Over 100 nutritious, high-quality products are available, including canned and fresh fruits and vegetables, fresh and dried eggs, meat, poultry, fish, milk and cheese, pasta, and cereal. Again, for more information, I recommend going to the web. You want to go to www.fns.usda.gov/TAFAP, T-F-A-P. Food pantries. This is a search engine for local food pantries, food shelves, and other food help. In addition, food pantries also contains information on subsidized groceries and pantry hours, details, and websites. For more information, foodpantries.org. Goodwill. Goodwill is an organization that has programs for youth, seniors, veterans, people with disabilities, and people with criminal backgrounds. In addition to employment assistance and employment training, Goodwill also has programs for savings, loan support, and tax preparation. For more information, go to goodwill.org. Career One Stop is the career training and job search website for the U.S. Department of Labor. Career One Stop offers employment training programs as well as a search engine to American job centers. More information, www.careeronestop.org. Last, I'll mention United Way 211. The services of United Way 211 include resources for crisis, emergency, and disasters, food, health, housing and utilities, jobs and employment, and resources for those re-entering civilian life from prison, a rehabilitation program, or the military. Call 211 to speak with a service professional. They're available 24/7 in all languages, and the calls are completely confidential. If you'd rather take some information off the web first, you can visit www.211.org. Although budgeting is always important, it's especially important when your income is changing. If you're transitioning from public assistance to earned income, it can be challenging. So here are some tips to help you keep your budgeting and money management on track through a transition. First, track your spending. It's important to know what you take home and pay and what your living expenses are day to day so you can make sure you aren't spending more than you earn. There are many different ways you can track your spending. You can use a spending tracker to write down everything you spend, keep receipts, or use a budgeting app. No matter what you use to track your spending, what's important is to understand how much you're spending and what you're spending it on. Second, save for emergencies. Stay on track. It's always a good idea to put an emergency savings fund together. It's important to have some money set aside for a rainy day. Example might be if you or a family member becomes sick and needs medicine, a car needs a repair, or in case you're unexpectedly out of work for a while. Another thing to keep in mind is finding ways to cut back. If you find you're spending more than you're bringing home in income, you may have to find ways to cut down on how much you spend. There are many ways to save money, which we'll go into some detail on next. But first, let's watch a video to learn some more tips about staying on track.
Finding ways to save money may be easier than you think. By setting aside just a few hours, or an afternoon every now and then, to do a little research on some of your biggest monthly expenses, you may be able to save hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars a year. Here are some ideas to get you started saving on some of your bigger expenses, things like television, cell phones, utilities, and insurance. Almost everybody loves television, and it's no secret that services such as satellite or cable TV can be pricey. Thinking about how you use your TV could be a good way to start trimming expenses. For example, you may consider switching to antenna TV. The technology has come a long way since the days of bunny ears, and so has the quality of the picture. The FCC has an interactive map that shows which channels you might get in your zip code. Check out fcc.gov to find out more. Combining antenna TV with the occasional movie rental or an online streaming service, like those web-based services that have shows and movies that you can binge watch all weekend, might cost you a little bit up front, but it could save you hundreds of dollars over the course of a year. Now, if you decide to go with satellite or cable, shop around and negotiate. You may find a cheaper option, or your current provider may be willing to lower your monthly payment to keep you as a satisfied customer. A couple of phone calls could save you money each month. Speaking of phone calls, you may want to look at your cell phone plan to see if you can cut down on costs there too. Data and texting plans can be expensive, so make sure your plan reflects how much or how little you use your phone. You might also make some changes to your habits that could help you trim costs. If you use a smartphone, there are apps that allow you to track your data usage and even set alarms when you get close to a monthly limit. By avoiding large downloads on the go, you might be able to scale back your plan. Prepaid plans might also be a money-saving option. Or you might consider a family plan if you have more than one person in your household. Just remember, as with anything, pay attention to all the details of the plan when shopping around for deals. Finally, if you need to use a phone for your work, you might consider checking with your employer to see if they might cover your cell phone expenses. Or if you're self-employed, you might be able to get a tax deduction for your phone expenses. Next, let's look at housing. It's probably your biggest expense. If you rent, you might be able to ask your landlord about giving you a better deal when it's time to renew. Take a look at the going rate for similar apartments in your area to see if it makes sense to renegotiate. Most landlords don't want the vacancy that comes with the turnover, so if you've been a good tenant, they may be willing to work with you. And when it comes to household expenses, energy can be a big one, particularly if you're a homeowner. A programmable thermostat is one way you can save. They're relatively easy to install, and they can help you save significantly on your heating and cooling bill by raising and lowering the temperature automatically when you're not at home or when you're asleep. You can go one step further by getting an energy audit of your home. Your utility company may offer free energy audits that can give you valuable ideas on how to save on your energy bill that are specific to your home. You can start to find out more and get additional tips on saving energy from the Environmental Protection Agency's Energy Star website at energystar.gov. Another place you may be able to save big is on your insurance. Many people bundle their policies, such as homeowners and auto insurance, with one carrier. That can often bring substantial discounts. You might also cut some insurance costs by making upgrades to your home, like installing a security system. And if it's been a few years since you've shopped for insurance, you may want to shop around instead of just renewing. This can be particularly helpful on health insurance if you're responsible for buying your own insurance, since the prices of these plans change frequently. There are several websites where you can compare plans and prices, but pay attention to what the plan offers and the details, such as premiums, deductible amounts, and co-payments. The least expensive option may end up costing you more if it doesn't cover what you need. It may be hard to get started, but just a little bit of research and a couple of phone calls could make a big difference in your budget almost right away. And sure, spending an afternoon researching your monthly expenses may not be as thrilling as, say, a day at the beach, but rolling up your sleeves and doing some work on this may help you save hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars each year. That's money you might spend on a vacation at a beach.
Sounds nice, doesn't it? Let me bring it back to the slides here. So you may need to do more than you are currently to build your emergency fund and reach other savings goals. So here are a few ideas, additional ideas on how to cut back and save more. First, set a daily spending plan. This is an interesting idea. Every morning, based on your day, set a spending cap that you don't want to go over that day and challenge yourself to stick to that number. Second, take public transportation whenever possible. Ride-sharing services and taxis can really add up. So whenever possible, take public transportation or even walk or bike if you can. Third, change that phone plan. Although having phone data seems like a necessity, you'll save a lot by buying less data and using more Wi-Fi. Fourth, pick something you buy often but perhaps don't need and cut back. For example, maybe you buy a soda or a coffee every day. If you cut that to 2 days a week and the cost is $1.50 each, that's more than $150 a year you could save. Fifth, stick to a grocery list. This can be really hard to do, but challenge yourself to only buy what's on the list and reduce the number of impulse purchases you make. Remember that fresh food, such as fruits and vegetables, are good for you, but if you buy what's in season, they're usually much less expensive than prepared food or fast food. Last, pack food or lunch every day for work. If you're buying lunch and maybe dinner every day, challenge yourself to eat at home for 1 or 2 days a week. Again, the savings and the health benefits can really add up. So let's review what we discussed in this session. First, understand your paycheck. Remember, your net pay, the amount you take home, is your gross pay minus mandatory and voluntary deductions. Second, find out what resources are available to help you. There are lots of government programs out there. If you're finding it hard to make ends meet, including government resources such as SNAP, TANF, or Medicaid, as well as local food and employment resources can really help. Third, stick with it. Sometimes building your savings can seem like an impossible dream, but just sticking with your saving plan can yield big savings in the long run. So that wraps up our session on income and paychecks. Please post questions in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for joining us. And please tune in for more videos like this that will help you take control of your money and get ahead in 2021.